Okay. Good morning, everyone, and I call to order the Design Review Board for Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022. The first item on our agenda are the minutes of April 19th, 2022. Do I have any corrections or questions?
No.
If not, then I would, okay. I'm sorry, Cheryl?
No, I was
No.
going to make it a motion.
Yes, may I have a motion, Cheryl, to approve?
Make it a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. The next item on our agenda is the Maidstone Arms. Is the applicant present?
Yes.
Okay, good morning. How are you?
So my name,
Morning.
sorry, my name is
Yes.
Jenny. Yeah, my daughter's name.
Oh, okay.
It says Sienna Baker here. I haven't yet figured out how to change that. So
I don't know either.
It
Oh,
just
yeah.
came up now.
wait, I got it. All right. Feel very smart all of a sudden. Okay.
It says Sienna Baker.
I know. I'm gonna change. I'm Jenny. Sienna's my
Oh,
daughter.
okay. Okay.
After Zoom and homeschooling, that's what we got going on. All right.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi. And now, could you just present what you would like to do there at the Maidstone Arms, please?
Yes. So as we spoke about 2 weeks ago, I'd like to repaint it.
Okay.
And I'm interested in a new look.
Yes.
So I'm working within what could possibly happen based on where it's located as well.
Okay.
So I went back and I looked at the Benjamin Moore historical colors and
Yes.
looked at what it would look like if I put black in there instead of with the current hunter green. And then I also found 3 other colors that are not as dark, but that are sort of, I think, interesting. So I sent color swatches for you as well for that. And you know, you can just sort of have a look at all 4 and see which might resonate.
Okay.
And then you have the actual sketch to see what it would look like. That's just kind of programmed in a computer,
Yeah.
right? But
Yes.
it's really the colors that I wanted to have a discussion about to see if any of those could work.
Okay. Thank you, Jenny. Billy, hey, Jack, your input on the colors. Excuse me. Billy?
Yeah, good morning.
Good
Chairman and
morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I mean, I defer to the board regarding the color samples, you know, that were submitted. I would just reiterate the location for the painting, you know, what's to be painted. And,
Yes.
you know, trim and shutters and such, I think is traditional. I don't, you know, the painting, you know, sort of the pillars on the porch, I'm not, you know, that I'm not sure if would be,
Yes.
you know, a traditional look for the historic
No.
district. But other than
Yeah.
that, I defer to the board concerning the color swatches.
Thank you. I believe the pillars will have to be left white because nothing in the village, and it's just really not a look to paint them black. Other than that, Aunt Duffy,
I mean, I think the other colors that she submitted versus the black, there's a lot of black and white going on that seems like it's gonna, I don't know how traditional it is to have the actual black in the village, but it just seems like it's more of a trendy thing happening right now, to have black and white on the buildings. There were some of the Williamsburg colors, the Notre Dame, which is a really dark, one of the darker colors. That's a really nice difference from the Hunter Green. It's it's the CSP 570 that she's.
Yeah, we have a sample of that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which I thought was a really nice, color, kind of
Oh,
a,
yes.
so.
Yeah, I agree with you. The CSP 570, I'm just looking at it now. The other ones are like a greenish color, the CW 475.
675.
675.
Six
Yeah,
seems a little, the pale gray seems a little bit on the light side.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do like the CSP 570. Anybody else's input on this? Amy Deline, what do you think?
You know, when I was looking at it too, I thought the Notre Dame stuck out to me too as a really pretty color palette.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, and I think leaving the columns white would also be a good idea.
Thank you.
That Notre Dame I thought was really beautiful.
Right. Thank you, Amy. Cheryl, what is your opinion?
Yeah, I think the columns should remain white.
Yes.
But I don't know, I guess black, I guess that's the in color today. Excuse me. But I think the Notre Dame 570, I think that would go very nicely
I do, yes.
with the shutters and the door.
Yeah.
I
Chris?
think, yeah, I think the black is also, historically a very popular shutter color. And, the 1770 Inn down the way has black, and, you'll see a lot of black shutters with white houses. But, seeing as the 1770 does have black, maybe the Notre Dame, which is close enough, but it also a very rich and nice color blue, would be a good choice. And I also agree on leaving the columns white.
Yes. Kristen, thank you. And let me see, anyone else? Did
I
all
think,
board? Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
I think also she had a swatch of the finish, which was a high gloss, which I think is a nice finish.
Yeah, I
for
think it should be
whichever
a
color.
gloss.
So I think the high gloss versus the semi-gloss would be nice in this darker color.
I agree.
Well, yes. But anyone else? Anybody else? Amy, what is your opinion about the satin versus the high gloss?
I mean, I think it would look beautiful in the high gloss. I think that having a trim in that would be really pretty out there. So I would agree with Anne on that.
The only thing is, whoever's doing the painting, from my own experience, if the shutters are old, they're gonna have to do a really great job prepping them and
Yeah.
sanding them down, because the bad thing about gloss is that it'll show every imperfection.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Other than that, does everybody like so we're all in favor of the CSP 570, and so far it looks like everybody likes the high gloss. Am I correct?
Yep, I agree.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
agree with what Robert said is, making sure that they're being prepped properly and you're, getting a really nice paint job, because you do want to make sure you put the work into it to prep it for that beautiful finish. I
Right.
think that is important too, when you get just for your own sake.
Yeah. Because any imperfection, I just know from 35 years of doing it, that any imperfection will not look good. So if the shutters are old, I would be afraid to do it in high gloss.
Should I ask the painter perhaps? They're starting to prep in a few days, so I can have a conversation with him based on that.
How does the board feel about that?
Well, I think you put out a good primer, sand it up good.
Yeah,
and
that's
put
what
on
I'm
a
talking
good-
about.
A good primer.
Yeah.
And then put your finish gloss on it. I think that would hold up good.
Yeah. Okay. So then, I'm sorry.
No, I just had one other thing, Robert. The white that she submitted, is that the same white that's now currently on the building?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Okay. And okay. So it sounds like the board is in favor of the so why don't we go with the CSP 570 and in high gloss? And Jenny, I would just make sure that the painter is aware that he has to do a really great job prepping it. Otherwise, you will not be happy with the way it looks.
I know, yeah. No,
Okay,
he's very, very excited to do the work, so I'll have the.
okay.
conversation. Yeah.
I'm sure he is. Well, Jenny, thank you. And
you.
any other questions from the board? May I have a motion to approve this application?
So I'll make it a motion.
Cheryl, thank you. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Ann, and all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Jenny, thank you. It was a pleasure, and I know it's going to look great.
And
Yeah,
just to clarify, it's the doors, shutters, flower boxes, not the columns.
Yeah, not the columns. The columns are
Okay,
to
thank you.
remain white. Okay, if you, that's it. So thank you all.
Right. Bye.
Have a nice day, Jenny.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
Good.
Bye-bye. Okay, the next application is for Lockwood Lane. Is the applicant present?
Applicant here, Charles Regensburg, for the owner, David Cool.
Cool, thank you. Could you please explain what you'd like to do?
What we're proposing is the existing stockade fence that's facing west on Ocean Avenue. We'd like to, keep that. It's behind the privet, it's screened. It's going to turn, I guess, a natural silverish color because it's a spruce. And it goes along the property from Lockwood Lane to the end of the property where the village has acquired that other property next to the beach parking lot.
Okay, and Billy Hayjack, did you have a chance to look at the property, and what is your opinion about what they'd like to do here?
Yeah, I visited the site. I submitted to the board some photographs. And I reviewed the sketch that was submitted, the colorized sketch. It's not it wasn't exactly clear to me what, the limits of what was proposed. I wasn't sure.
I could run through that if you would like. This was prepared by the owner. I know it was a little deceiving and hard to read. I should have emphasized that. But I could go through it quickly if you want me to.
Sure, that would help.
Okay, so it's besides the stockade fence that's facing on the west side, facing west of the property, the front property on Lockwood Lane, we have a row of privet that goes from Ocean all the way down to Lockwood to the end of the owner's property, which butts up to 10 Lockwood Lane. And then there'll be a service gate and a man gate, and then a driveway entrance. I'm pretty sure that the driveway entrance is pretty clear. Is good. I attached 2 drawings of what the man gates would be and the service gates on the second page of. I'm not sure if you all have that, but
Yeah.
this right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Then obviously bringing the deer fence around to the east side of the property and then back down to join across to attach to the stockade fence at the rear of the property.
Which fence? Did you say deer fence?
Yes, a 6-foot high deer fence with 2 wires, from what I was told, 12 inches apart, which would be
Is that going to be
also
on top of the deer fence is on top of the retaining wall, or?
well, no, we had the deer fence. Well, that was a good question because we weren't sure if we were going to put it on top of the retaining wall or on the lower part of the retaining wall.
Okay.
Because we have to have something for safety reasons so that, because there is like a 3.5, 4 foot drop in certain sections on the retaining wall. So we were going to try to navigate that so that the deer fence could also act as a pool fence as well.
Yeah, the height of fencing is you can't put a 6-foot fence on top of a 5-foot retaining wall, because then essentially you'd have an 11-foot high fence.
Right.
So I would recommend that. I mean, this is not easy to understand what's proposed and where. I think my recommendation to the board would be to have an actual survey showing what exists and what's proposed, because I think this is going to be, I think we're already deviating from the prior approval in terms of the location of retaining walls. I included a copy of the survey that was approved by the board, and the area of retaining walls was fairly limited to the south side of the property and around the swimming pool. And, you know, I'm not sure exactly the extent of walls now, but I think they extend completely up to the rear yard property line, or the easterly side property line. And I'm not
They're
sure if-
off by, they're set back about 3 feet
Okay,
from the property line. And that continues all the way around to the south part of the property line. There's a buffer there.
Okay.
So that, you know, the Cool's property, there's at the end of the retaining wall going south, there's 3 feet until that property line. So
okay, do you understand
Maybe
that
we
that's not what the board approved previously?
from my understanding, yes, I wasn't a part of that
Okay,
application. I'm just a part of finishing this project up.
okay,
So, okay, so why don't we simplify this application by going back, resubmitting a survey, and let's do some more detailed drawings of your fencing, what you would like to accomplish, because I find it also very confusing. And why don't you resubmit that?
Okay, so we did have the survey come out and start that work
okay.
on the retaining wall part, but I'll ask him to show what's there existing, show the heights, the elevations,
Yes,
and the proposed fencing. My
Yes.
only question is it possible that we can talk about the stockade fence that's there now before the privet continues to grow?
Billy, what is your opinion?
sure, you can. I think it's fair for the board to give their opinion on the fencing. I'm aware of 2 stockade fences in the Ocean Road or Ocean Avenue Historic District. I believe both were pre-existing.
believe they
So
were.
I'm not sure if any have been approved in my modern memory. The guidelines for the district call for sort of more of an open, like low gates, low fences, no higher than 4 feet. There have been some 6-foot fences approved, but they're deer style fencing, wire mesh fencing.
I think to keep this simplified so we don't go in all these directions, which I could see I think what you need to do is resubmit the survey and resubmit all the drawings related to it so that we have a comprehensive look at it that goes from A to Z. And I don't really want to pick parcels out of it and say, this is good, this we'll wait on. That's not the way to do it. So if the applicant could just go back to the drawing board, send us everything that's in a logical order, the survey, all the fencing, everything you want to do, and stipulate that in some sentence structures here so that we know what we're looking at, okay?
Very well.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
Bye.
Okay. The next item on the agenda is the design and site plan application for Playful Learning. 43 Pantago Road. Is the applicant present?
I am present, but I think Johnny Davis is going to be presenting the plan. Is he here? Is anybody from Davis Landscaping on the call? Okay, I'll try and answer as many
I
questions.
see
as
you,
can.
Jonathan, but I think he's muted.
Okay. Let's see. I can try and answer as many questions as you have.
Can you just tell us what you'd like to do?
Yes, so we have a little learning center in East Hampton Village. I'm just gonna send a quick message. So we have a little learning center. We work with preschool age children, ages 2 through 6. And we were hoping to add some more items to our yard to improve the children's educational experience.
Oh, okay.
So was I think he submitted the plan. I don't, okay, his wife is gonna go tell him that we're up now, I think. I'm so sorry about this. I thought he was gonna be on the call already. Yeah.
He is. I just think he's having some technical difficulties with his microphone.
That's what it looks
Okay.
like to me too. Maybe he should
Okay.
just sign off and re-sign on and give it a try that way. I don't know if he can hear me.
I agree.
Okay. I'm sorry, if I knew I was going to be presenting, I would have been better prepared, but I was told that they were going to present. Let's see. Meanwhile, I'll pull up the plans.
Here he is. Let's let him in.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, so I don't know what Mariah discussed with you
Okay,
briefly
fine.
there, but we are looking to do some planting and furnishing improvements to the outside of the building to facilitate some less muddy play for the children, and also to introduce some more sort of interesting and dynamic elements for them to be interacting with outside, trying to get them out interacting with nature. So the plan which was presented to you shows a very simple layout around the what would be the east and south side of the building. And then there should be an accompanying PDF that shows the individual furnishings that are going to be included. There's one change to the fencing, which allows access to the front garden from adjacent to the front door. I'm happy to share my screen if that would help to talk through the plan, or if you have specific questions.
Why don't you share your screen and go over all
Yeah,
the various
say that.
items?
Be good.
Great. Let me know when you can see the screen.
Okay, thank you. That's great.
So this is the building. This is the west-facing side of the building, and no changes are to take place on this side, but we're planning to introduce a gate on this right-hand side to provide access, as mentioned, to the front garden. And on the left-hand side, you can see the plan. At the moment, this is all just lawn, and we have an existing white fence.
Right, okay.
See. So this is the condition. This is the view out from the front of the building looking out. So we're looking to introduce some plantings, which are suggested to be native. The goal here is really to be bringing in native vegetation, native animals, birds, bees, insects, etc., for enjoyment, not just from the outside looking in, but the inside looking out. So that's basically what we have here. Simple bench, some bird houses, bee houses over here, bird bath, a ring of stump stools, which is meant to give the children the opportunity to be sitting outside potentially for some outside lessons, a bird feeder stand, additional plantings going around here. We are suggesting a low evergreen hedge that will be planted in front of the, or sorry, behind this existing white fence to provide a little bit of privacy for the little children as they are in this exterior space. And there are some picnic tables. These are actually existing picnic tables that we're moving from the rear yard up to the front. This is in a large existing cryptomeria, which will just be underplanted with some transplanted ferns from on site. And then we are transitioning at this point, as we come around to the east side of the building, to some artificial turf with the number of little feet running around on a regular basis. The grass does tend to get pretty muddy through the colder months. So we're suggesting an artificial turf ground cover for the rear of the property. So as I move back here, that would start coming from the front of the building around. We have an existing fence. That's this existing fence. This is the view from the back door looking out. That existing fence and gate remains. Some stumps. These are described as stepping stone, wood stepping stones in grade. The existing furnishings around this area are just being rearranged, nothing new is being introduced over here. We're moving some vegetable beds, raised beds that are in the back over to this area. This is basically this back portion of the building is becoming the kitchen garden. So the children can be interacting with some of the culinary plants. And then as we move into the backyard, again, some additional, this is the state of the existing furnishings back there. So the goal was really to try and expand this space over here on the left as much as possible. So we're taking things like the existing vegetable garden over here, moving it into this back area as described. These are the picnic benches that were going to be moved up to the front, eliminating the gravel area over here. And then in the back, introducing a tree swing to replace the existing swing that's in the back over here with some sort of a cocoon swing, which would basically be something very similar. A tree bench underneath that large cherry tree that's in the back. And then we're rearranging some of the existing furnishings here. Everything's called out, what's existing and what will be new. And then some low plantings around the rear fence as well. Again, trying to get the children engaged as much as possible with plants. So there's strawberries and blackberries and blueberries. So as a whole, the plan does not entail any architectural or really any significant changes to the exterior of the building or the existing gates and fences. As mentioned, there is that one new gate to provide access to the front.
Thank you. Thank you. Is that it, Jonathan? Thank you.
Great.
Any, Billy Hajek, your opinion, input?
I have no, comments.
Good, great. Board members, Anne, any questions, comments?
Is there any sort of, Billy, is there any sort of rule on artificial turf being?
No, it doesn't. I think this might be the first installation in any of the commercial districts that I'm aware of. So no.
Okay. Jonathan, how many square feet approximately are we talking about with the artificial turf?
It's not again, sorry, I don't have the information right on top of me, but I would imagine we're talking about 15 feet by maybe 45, 50 feet.
Oh, so it's quite large.
Well, basically, it's the rear yard. It starts at pretty much at the face of the building, and it runs all the way through to this existing fence in the back. And I can show you.
Is this AstroTurf?
So the artificial turf that is becoming very common in many landscapes, especially in a high traffic area, is it looks very similar to the existing grass that you have here. It has the main difference you'd notice in the off season, because it doesn't get any of the browning out that you might see in lawn turf, but in the main season you see it looks almost identical. It's not quite the AstroTurf that you reference. It has evolved quite a lot in the last few years.
I noticed the turf, it didn't, I mean, I have architect friends that have used the AstroTurf in large areas, and it's quite impressive, the AstroTurf itself. But I saw a swatch of your turf, and it didn't look like it would, I don't know, it looked sort of like it tips over. I don't know the best material to use for this, so I'm a little concerned with the sample that you sent.
Yeah, I mean, we can provide more samples, but in reality, it goes down like very similar to the turf grass that you'd see as sod going down, and you really can't tell the difference in any
Okay.
way. Even walking on it, it's firm, and obviously it's a synthetic product when you look at it up close. But from a design perspective, you'd be very hard pressed to tell the difference.
Is it pervious, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Is it going to create sort of a runoff issue, or you have to provide
No, it's
drainage?
similar. Yeah, it's similar to it's put on a gravel or stone dust base, and it's just set on compacted earth, so it will drain in a similar fashion to lawn grass.
Okay. Thank you.
Cheryl Dayton, what is your opinion?
Well, I guess I take it the water will go right through it.
Correct.
You have a gravel base.
Yes.
Well, I think it'd be low maintenance.
From a environmental perspective, it doesn't need to be irrigated. It doesn't need to have gas mowers going over it. It doesn't need to have any of the chemical treatments. So other than the synthetic nature of it, which no one's crazy about plastics, but it will stay there for many, many years. And
You won't have to mow it.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, especially considering there is a small, it's adjacent to Hook Pond's runoff area, and I think there's a real benefit to something like this.
Okay.
Yeah, I know the technology of the turf has really advanced lately through Western, like the West Coast goes through droughts. So it's very commonly used in a lot of homes out there in the West Coast in those drought communities. So I know that it is like an advanced technology nowadays where it's not what it used to be. And it is nice for children as well, for no pesticides or anything like that for your side of the children's health standpoint too.
Kristen, your opinion?
I can see the benefit to, in the spring, especially not having muddy feet throughout the building. And, I think I thought the sample was quite nice and it did look, fairly natural. I like your wooden benches and all very natural. And all your play structures are wooden and not plastic. I think your aesthetic is really quite nice. So
I agree.
I'm in favor of it.
Great. Well, thank you all. And Jonathan, thank you for the presentation. If there are no other questions, may I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a
I'll second
second?
it.
Thank you, Cheryl. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank
Okay,
you so much, everyone.
you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Are there any questions or unfinished business before the board? Anyone? Pam?
You accomplished your agenda.
Thank you. With everyone's
Right
help.
on.
Thank you.
Good
If
job.
there- Thank you. If there are no other questions, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Cheryl, thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. And all in favor?
Aye.
See you at the next meeting.
Very good.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
Bye.
Great-
Hopefully it will be 10 degrees warmer.
Yeah.